And I believe we are recording. So, what up, everybody? I am your host,
What's up, man?
JP.
And I'm your host, David.
And you are watching
3 Count Review.
Oh, yeah.
Woo!
So, this is our first official YouTube podcast, if you will. If you guys don't know, 3 Count Reviews has been going strong on Spotify, Google Podcasts, through Anchor FM. So shout out Anchor FM. Thank you so much for building a platform. That is my dog in the background. We're in a pandemic, so if the news, can do this with like children throwing toys in the background, we can do this. So, and I need to remember to look here. But so we've been doing the podcast, as I said, strictly just through radio, if you will. But now we are here. We are reviving the 3 Count Reviews YouTube channel. Thank you to everyone who has stayed a subscriber. If you are new to the channel, as always, click subscribe, give a like, and all that good stuff. Leave some love in the comments. If there's anything that we discuss in this episode that you have any questions about, go ahead, comment down below, and we'll get to your guys' questions. And then maybe we'll even answer a few questions from this episode in the next episode. So to those of you who have been here before, to those of you who are new, thank you for joining us in the revive of 3 Count Reviews on YouTube. So here we are. Now, for those of you who know me, you know me that I'm your host, JP, but I now have my partner, David.
Yes.
Yeah.
So this is the first time you guys are seeing me. Hi. I'm the one that tries to take all the notes for this and then get the news articles for us, so we have some discussions going on for this podcast.
Yep. So if you hear some wind in the background, that's my fan because it's hot in my room. All right. So as usual, we have a news segment and go over some news in the industry, in the wrestling industry, and then we'll do some AEW Dynamite reviews and NXT reviews. But before we get into that, something that we've done on the audio version of this show is to wish everyone, safety and good health during these times. This pandemic, we know, has been really hard for so many people. So if you've been staying strong, or even if you haven't, just the fact that you are still trucking through, we are here for you. We love wrestling, and that's really been helping us get through these times, because wrestling hasn't stopped since the pandemic started, which we are really thankful for. But on top of that, Black Lives Matter, always and forever. And, we just love you guys. So that's all, hello, welcome. Let's get into it. So David, as usual, give me the news.
All right, so first things first, we have a spoiler alert because the main event for SummerSlam has been revealed.
Okay.
So,
okay.
As you've seen, Randy Orton has beaten Edge, and Edge is out injured. He was supposed to have a rematch with Orton at SummerSlam for a rubber match. But seeing that Edge is injured until past SummerSlam, they're going to have Randy Orton be Drew McIntyre's opponent for the WWE Championship. So
okay.
What do you think about that?
So it's Randy Orton
versus Drew McIntyre for the WWE Championship.
Versus
Don't
Drew
know
McIntyre
how I feel about it.
For the WWE title.
Yeah.
What's the lead up?
I haven't seen any lead up on Monday Night Raw. So according to this article,
is it too soon for a lead up?
No, I think they're waiting one Monday night after. It's because Dolph actually wants a rematch with McIntyre, and this time McIntyre is picking the stipulation. So what I'm guessing is going to happen, they're going to have a fun championship match, to try to boost ratings, because championship matches usually help. Okay. But Dolph's going to get murdered, and then I'm pretty sure Randy Orton's going to attack Drew after the match, or the night after or something.
Yeah. Hmm. I mean, it'll be a good match because, two big men, veteran.
Yeah.
I mean, actually, if you really think about it, two veterans, but Randy Orton's a WWE veteran.
Very true.
It'll be a good match, but at the same time, I mean, it's hard to say for me because we're not really watching Raw and SmackDown right now. So
Yeah.
I guess, okay, if I'm not watching Raw and SmackDown and I hear that this is a main event match for a pay-per-view, I'm going to watch it, one, because it's Randy Orton, two, because it's Drew McIntyre. And then it's them versus each other. But what are they going to do? What are they going to come up with because, I mean, realistically, when you think of these two names, this should be a huge match. But what are they really going to give us, and what is WWE going to book for us? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's why I don't know how I feel about it just yet, because I don't know strongly yet what to think about it. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, Randy Orton is the Viper. He can come out of nowhere and all that good stuff, and then just create a feud out of nothing. That's the beauty of Randy Orton. But I feel like I feel like WWE is reaching this point with Raw and SmackDown where they're just really throwing things together.
Yeah.
Because because of this pandemic, like, I almost need this pandemic to stop so that at least Raw and SmackDown could at least be what it was prior to this pandemic, which is not saying a lot, but at the same time, it's a good match on paper. It's a good match when you think about it. But we here at 3 Count Reviews are all about continuity and proper storyline, proper booking, proper creativity, proper everything. So what I just don't know yet. I guess I can only answer this when we see what happens when Randy inserts himself into the title picture. You know what I'm saying?
True.
Now, to see Randy Orton get his head knocked off by a Claymore, okay, I'm into it.
Yeah. I paid money to see that, honestly.
Yeah, I'm into it, so why not?
Yeah. I think one storyline angle they could pull from this is I remembered in the past I was watching McIntyre was talking about how his move is like the new out of nowhere move, like that's their thing.
Yeah.
So I guess it's a fight over that, like who has the most like instant kill move that comes out of nowhere, basically.
Instant
kill. But yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it'll be a good match. I just want it to make sense. That's all.
Yeah, me too. Because I feel like they're just scrambling right now because like everyone's injured or everyone can't like take a flight to Florida. So
which is hard. We get it.
Yeah,
we get it. It's hard, but you can still give quality during rough times. AEW is a perfect example.
Very true. Very true. Yeah, I mean they were missing Adam Page and the Young Bucks for like ages. Yeah, and they did fine. All right. So next we have a very personal news on AJ Styles, where basically he rips on Paul Heyman. So during a live Twitch stream, AJ Styles spoke about his issues with Heyman, and Styles felt it was Heyman who recommended Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson to be released in April. So Styles actually asked to be moved to SmackDown. It wasn't like a Vince move to move him to SmackDown so like they would make Fox happy. This was AJ's personal choice to move to SmackDown because he didn't want to be around Heyman. And long story short, basically there's other superstars that feel like he does throw people under the bus. So this is news because we've, obviously covered another article kind of basically for Heyman. So this sheds light on a very different perspective.
Yeah.
Maybe there was a better reason for Vince firing him. I would like to believe.
It's just, one thing after another. Sooner or later, you gotta. Man, Vince McMahon, just step down. Jesus H, man. I can't take this no more, bro. Like, everyone knows that when you are the captain of your ship, you are responsible for everything that goes wrong. Sometimes, before the ship possibly could ever go down, maybe a captain should retire.
Fair. If you're being a bad captain. All right, next we have some pretty good news for AEW.
Oh, thank you. Sweet baby dude.
Yeah. I feel bad too because I rarely cover AEW, but they kind of don't have drama. So I've been able to cover something nice. AEW will be replacing WWE's programming on Sky Sports Italy. Now, why this is a big deal is because WWE and Sky Sports Italy has had a 2-decade partnership, and it is now ending this July. Discovery has announced that they had agreed to a new multi-year deal to air WWE programming in Italy. So WWE also lost its distribution deal with Sky Sports Italy due to a combination of two things. The cost of the rights to air the programming for Sky Sports Italy and WWE's decline in viewership. So once Sky Sports Italy dropped WWE, they decided to make a deal with AEW in order to air Dynamite on Friday night time slot starting July 31st. So isn't that crazy?
Wow.
That feels like a small takeover on it's like a small victory for AEW. You got
So you're telling me that WWE just could not produce in Sky Sports Italy, and so Sky Sports Italy sees that as we just can't do this no more. But then they look at AEW and they be like, you know what? But you guys are on to something. And then start something with that. That is wow.
Talk about a fresh breakup. Got into a new relationship real quick.
Man, that is a swift kick to the balls, I swear. Yeah. Wow. Good job, AEW. Man. See, now here's the thing. I don't want to wish nothing bad on nobody. But something needs to happen in WWE. Whoa, almost knocking things over. There needs to be something needs to happen in WWE, something extensive to where they wake up and they realize none of this is working. Vince is not working. It's just man, now people could argue this and say, well, it's just Sky Sports Italy, the WWE makes X amount of dollars, every year. They're a $1 billion company. I don't care. Because when you start with one place, then it happens in another place. And then another place.
Yeah.
And you don't even want it to happen in one place because that's just, things don't work out all the time. But when you have a network that says your numbers are not working for us, but we're going to go ahead and book your competitor, that's more than just numbers. That's Sky Sports Italy realizing this industry is huge now. And WWE's not doing it, but just because WWE's not doing it doesn't mean, these other people can't do it. So, it's, wow, that's nice.
Yeah. It felt really good to report that, I'm not going to lie. All right, so next, it might be a dilemma, it might not be. We'll see in the next week. Basically, Rey Mysterio met with WWE officials at HQ. So it's been known in the last couple of weeks, Rey has yet to sign a WWE contract. During Extreme Rules, even that match that he was videotaping, he was not under contract then. So that whole, Seth taking his eye out, that was to write him off TV. Now, if he agrees to sign a new deal obviously there's a way to put him back in because in kayfabe they already said like, hey, if the eye's been like moved out, you can put it back in within the certain time slot because science works.
It's true.
Works out.
If an eyeball falls out, you can actually put it back. You just have like 30 seconds.
Yeah, it's like the 5-second rule. You know, you drop some food, pick it up. No bacteria. Yeah. All right. So they have that to bring him back in. Now, PW Insider Elite is reporting that Mysterio met with WWE officials this Tuesday, so this week, and it is not known if they are able to come to terms on a new deal. And based on past news articles, Rey Mysterio wanted a raise, but Vince McMahon said they can't afford a raise right now, especially with all the releases, even though, based off another article, this is actually one of WWE's most profitable years because of all those contractor expenses that they no longer have to pay for.
Do they think he's stupid?
It's a crazy situation, man, because
do they think Rey Mysterio is that dumb? Like, really? You laid off all of these people, and you really that alone, and you're gonna tell me that you don't have enough money to give me a raise?
Yeah, especially Doc Gallows and Carl Anderson. Theirs was like $750,000 each.
And unless WWE shot themselves in the foot by giving all of those contracts the money up front. And so they probably lost all of that money when they realized that all these people that they hunted down to give contracts to so they wouldn't leave for other companies, people probably negotiated to receive their payments up front for that time, and then WWE realized they had to release them, and then they were screwed. So that could be one possibility. Another possibility is WWE's being cheap. They have enough money to give Rey Mysterio Brock Lesnar money. I don't understand. That's ridiculous to me. And at the same time, Rey Mysterio, just the person that he is to the entire industry and what he has done since ECW, because WCW wasn't even first for him, it was ECW. Mm-hmm. So, he deserves your top rate. Anybody that wants to argue that with me, go ahead, that's fine. But out of respect, and somebody who still draws a crowd, and he's a living legend that can still go, if he's asking for more, you give him more, because he wants to stay with you guys. Now, as always in WWE, with all of these contract talks, people always say they asked WWE for more, and WWE so they couldn't do it, so is this person gonna go, or are they gonna finally go, and then you realize, they signed a contract at the last second. So, this stuff could just be the same old, and it just seems new because now it involves Rey Mysterio and this whole stupid eyeball thing. But, I mean, it might just be the same thing over and over again, I want Mysterio to leave and go to AEW.
Sure.
That's it.
Well, WWE has one dangling carrot over him, and that is his son, Dominic. So basically, Dominic is close to debuting, and Mysterio really wishes that Dominic will get his big debut in WWE. So that's why he's done this contract with WWE till now. So as long as they have that, that's their only running argument for them, because Rey Mysterio has left for the Indies before, and he can do it again.
Yeah.
So
yeah, he's done it successfully.
Yeah. So it's a flip of the coin right now. But me personally, this is throwing out logic out the window. I do want him to go to AEW also.
It's time. Go back.
Yeah. That'd be cool.
Yeah, for real. That would be amazing.
All right. And then second to last on our news, we have a WWE wrestler written out of storylines, no longer pushed as a top star. So we didn't watch this episode of Raw, but it's a fan favorite, I would say. So Dave Meltzer on Wrestling Observer newsletter said that Rollins' curb stop this Monday Night Raw and post-match attack last week on Raw was written as an injury angle for Aleister Black.
What?
So, unless things change, Black is being taken off TV for a while.
Why?
Now, WrestleNews.co was told last year that Vince wasn't a huge fan of Aleister Black and was waiting for Heyman to turn him into a top star. So others in the company believe that Black has all the tools to be a top guy in the company. And Heyman was one of the guys that backed him up. Aleister Black was a Paul Heyman guy.
Yeah.
Him with Cedric Alexander, Ricochet. And Aleister Black was actually the other guy rumored to win the Royal Rumble besides Drew McIntyre. So it's really crazy to see how one switch of backstage politics could drop someone's career. Because this guy could have faced Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania, and now he's being written off storylines. So
that should be the headline for this episode. Top star gets shunned by Vince McMahon.
Top star gets shafted by Vince McMahon.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah. But
man,
I guess
that sucks because I'm sure I can speak for you. I absolutely love Aleister Black. Him and Ricochet are some of my favorite current wrestlers right now. And it's just at least from where I'm sitting, they are just getting the stick straight up the bung pipe, that should be a t-shirt, straight up the bung pipe. But it's just so sad, and now granted, sometimes in WWE, they will write people off for X amount of time because they have something planned for them. They're repackaging them. They are hoping that if they spend some time away, that when they come back, it's just this all of a sudden this resurgence and they're over now, more than they were before. Which I have nothing wrong with that strategy, but do they know what they're doing at all at this point?
I honestly hope so, man. It's crazy.
Yeah. So I don't know. But what I do know is that you guys should hit subscribe and give a like. So, yeah. I don't know, man. Aleister Black, that's my boy. I follow him on Instagram. I follow his clothing brand. I think it's super creative. Very dark, but super creative. Butter! Good grief. So, it's just more BS, on top of BS, it just seems like. And until we see, unless they bring him back and do something amazing, cool, I'll pop for it. But I'm not going to bet my money on that, I don't know.
And it's weird that Vince he says he doesn't get Aleister Black, but you've had a very loyal wrestler that has the same thematics.
In our last episode, I believe it was our last episode, I had stated that Undertaker should have passed the mantle onto Bray Wyatt.
Yeah. Aleister Black would be a close second.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Since they missed that opportunity, Aleister Black, easy could be the new Undertaker. And you don't have to call him the Undertaker. You could just show the Undertaker, passing something on to him to where Aleister Black is now the Lord of Darkness, whatever. It's these easy things that you can come up with, If people love that aura of the Undertaker and they're falling in love with Aleister Black, and you create a legitimate storyline of Aleister Black and Undertaker coming together and Undertaker passing on the mantle, yeah.
That story writes itself, man.
You know what I'm saying? Ding, you know what I'm saying? It writes itself. And it wrote itself with Bray Wyatt. And Missed opportunity. Now it can right itself with Aleister Black. It's not too late.
Yeah.
You know, the only way it would be too late is if they had Aleister Black repackage himself as The Fiend Part 2, the remix. You know what I'm saying? Like, Diddy on the beat. But it's, that's how they could ruin that idea, by that never being a possibility. I mean, but then again, I shouldn't say never. You know, you've had Kane morph into 8 different versions of himself, so anything, even Bray Wyatt, he could go back to the original Bray Wyatt, because everything that's happening is just, they decide it's not working, whatever. But
do you remember Aleister Black's debut where he literally just kicked the head off of a jobber and that ended the match 1, 2, 3? That was crazy. And his entrance, like, never seen anything like it, How did they ruin that aura,
Because, well, that's what happens when you go up to the main roster.
Right, because he didn't even debut as a single star. He debuted with Ricochet as a tag team.
When you could have just had the 2 of them face each other.
Yeah, that would have been a crazy match.
Fresh meat on the block. Let's watch them compete.
That's the thing. I was like, okay, they're a tag team, because once they break up, Aleister's heel, Ricochet's face, they're going to face off, right? They just broke off. Nothing ever happened.
I don't know, man.
Is that wild?
If they were still in NXT, this wouldn't be happening.
Very true. Ricochet would have been NXT champion at one point, I would say.
Man.
Or at least challenge for a title.
Man.
Yeah.
I wanted Ricochet to be the longest running North American champion. That's what I wanted.
Yeah. It's weird what they did with him. Like, I felt there were certain NXT wrestlers, they didn't have enough time in NXT.
Now, I was just going to say, I want to know whose bright idea was it to bring these people up? Oh, was it Triple H or was it Vince?
No, it was definitely not Triple H, man. So this was a Vince McMahon panic move. He was scared of the ratings. This was during AEW's time. So basically, he was scared that AEW was going up in the ratings, and their ratings for Raw and SmackDown were dropping. So that's when he did the NXT initiative, where it was Johnny Gargano, Tommaso Ciampa, Aleister Black, Ricochet. They were going to sell these 4 as like the main top stars, and they were going to change the WWE landscape. But Vince did this without Hunter knowing until the day of, basically. And there was a whole issue within itself, because that made Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano a tag team, when in NXT, they had a rivalry still going on for their rubber match. And the extra matches caused enough strain in Ciampa's neck where that rubber match never happened at TakeOver. It just destroyed storyline and consistency, because now you see like the main roster as filler, because like, hey, everyone's different when they reach the main roster. Like Nikki Cross, she was like this psychopath, right? Like in NXT, move her to the main roster, and she's like the super cheery like person that's Alexa Bliss's best friend.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's crazy, man. Okay.
Man, but I'm still salty about Nikki Cross not being Nikki Cross. I'm still salty about Sanity not being Sanity.
Yeah, like I think they gave them 1 week to try, and then
there should have been nothing to try.
Yeah.
There should have been nothing to try. There should have been, let's book you the way that you are, and let's make a storyline that makes sense, and not put you out there to look like a bunch of dumbasses. That's why your act didn't work, because we put you out there to look like a bunch of dumbasses, and then we broke you up.
And at one time, I'm pretty sure this happened. This was rumored though, but Killian Dane showed up in like those, that wrestling thing. What do you call it? That one piece.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Basically, that was forced by McMahon. So I was like, he had to change his whole attire. It didn't really fit with the whole Sanity shtick. So it was weird, man. There's things I had to change, because like Vince McMahon goes crazy about certain things. You've heard the rumors, right? Baron Corbin has to wear a shirt because Vince McMahon doesn't like how Baron Corbin's belly button looks. He doesn't like hairy chest. So I'm pretty sure that's why he covered like Killian Dane's thing, you know? So,
which is funny because nobody else cares.
exactly.
Dear Vince, nobody cares, bro.
He
Nobody cares.
Christian was so ugly, they should put a blue dot on him every time they were airing. Isn't that insane? Christian, dude.
Why? It's so baffling. I don't know. Well, do we have anything else for news?
Yes, it's not really a news, but it's like this match review that we're gonna try. Yeah.
Yes, the Sheamus Jeff Hardy bar fight of the night.
And you know what? I love bar fights, so I'm pretty for this. So Sheamus.
I miss Sheamus's mohawk.
Me too.
Sheamus's original hair makes him look soft compared to him having the mohawk.
It felt like he reverted back. I like the mohawk.
Yeah.
Even when it was down, it went to like one side, kind of like Jimmy Havoc's hair. So it was cool either way.
Yeah.
I don't know why he got rid of it.
I mean, WWE maybe, image, all that good stuff.
Yeah, all that good stuff. But this is actually some pretty good stuff, though. So it starts off with Sheamus soaking Jeff in the urinal. Jeff counters Sheamus's road kick in very wrestling fashion using a drum. Jeff powerbombs the waiter through a table, but Sheamus hits him from behind with a chair. Very cinematic movie-like. And then Jeff is down for the rest of this match, or so we think. Sheamus puts a hat over Jeff's face. And instead of pinning him, by the way, he has a whole drink. I think there's a cut because there was a time lapse. And then he goes to pin Jeff, as if the chair knocked out Jeff that badly, right? But before he goes to pin Jeff, Jeff takes off the hat. He's Brother Nero now. His contacts are in, face paint and everything. So he beats up Sheamus, goes up the ladder that was set up previously, hits a swanton bomb from the ladder, pins Sheamus, Jeff beats Sheamus. And Brother Nero debuted in the same match.
Now, it's crazy that you have Matt doing this in AEW, and then you have Jeff doing it in WWE. That's really interesting.
Yeah, that they finally decided to do that. What made you think they wanted to do that?
That had to that either Matt and Jeff planned to do that, or WWE's trying to capitalize on the idea because they see Matt doing it on AEW.
Because now they're like, oh, there is a way to make this profitable. Let's do it now. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Sorry,
everybody. I'm eating like chocolate covered espresso beans because it helped me stay awake. But if you see me doing this, I get bits in my teeth. Anyway, so all in all, good, fun match. It was entertaining. Bar fights are always fun. The only thing I have against it is Sheamus's hair. That's it.
Yeah. Fair.
But no, it was fun. It was really fun to watch. And then I liked, even though it is like what Matt is doing on AEW, I like that they had Jeff, do something like that, because Jeff does have different iterations of himself as well. I don't remember who it was that was doing it online, but the person that was doing like the different eras of like each wrestler, like he started with Matt Hardy. And then he did Jeff, and then he did a few other people. And it's so cool because you see like all the different versions of that wrestler, and then like in the center is like who they are now. And I thought that was so cool. And I think that's kind of what gave Matt the idea for AEW, was when the person did that. Either that person did that after Matt did it, or Matt got the idea from it. But either way, it was just super creative. And then for Matt to use that idea, now Jeff to use the idea. And I want to hope and think that Matt and Jeff had this planned, because that would just be so cool. I'm going to go to AEW. You're going to stay here at WWE, but we're going to like try to work in this concept somewhere, when the opportunity comes, like where you play multiple versions of yourself, like, we're going to do it on both brands. Like that to me would be so tight, because like who else can really do that right now? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Okay.
now if it's WWE trying to capitalize on that idea, it just supports what I've always said, how late WWE can be.
Now, there was a rumor way back when, if you remember when Wyatt and Matt Hardy was teaming together, they actually had a lot more plans together, but a lot of these plans were scrapped and it ended up never happening because what happened was they were supposed to eventually implode and then have some kind of like super feud at like the Hardy compound or something, and then the next exchange was going to be like at the Wyatt compound or something.
Yeah,
well,
I heard about that too. Yeah,
was they just lost to the B team, if you remember, and then the tag team division kept going down.
Give the fans what they want, right, Vince? Right.
It's crazy what you hear in the rumors and then like what actually happens on the shows.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyways, but let's move on to Impact.
Let's save
AEW first.
Let's do AEW and NXT. We'll save Impact for tomorrow. For the next episode.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Oh yeah. So by the way, guys, since this is our first official video here on YouTube, but this is just another episode of 3 Count Reviews since we've been on Spotify.
Check us out.
We are now adding Impact to our roster, if you will, of reviews and news that we'd like to cover. So we were trying to include Impact into today's review, but because Impact is new, we're both getting back into Impact. I think it would just be best if we had that as if we did that as a separate episode, so that we can really dive into Impact and focus on that. Because for us, it's like I said, we're coming back to it. It's new. We don't know. Some of you watching this might not watch Impact either. You might just watch AEW. You might not even watch NXT. You might just watch NXT and not even AEW. So we want to be able to focus properly on the different promotions that we're covering. Now, why we do AEW and NXT together is because it's the Wednesday Night Wars. Whatever you want to say, they're still going on, especially since AEW just covered territory in Italy. Hello. So,
and Jericho's now a demo god.
Yes, which I thought was
That's
hilarious.
Facts. I heard from the source directly. Yeah.
Big facts. So that's what we're gonna do. We would just want to keep it separate for now. What we eventually would like to do is probably have an overall big review, but if it's just too monotonous, then we'll keep it separate. So without further ado, I leave it to you.
Yes. All right. So this is the July 22nd episode of AEW, and it starts off strong with Eddie Kingston versus Cody for the TNT title. Now, I just have here in bold letters, Eddie Kingston is a monster on the mic, because this guy can talk. I've never heard of this guy, but the moment he stepped in the ring, he showed a crazy presence, dude.
Go ahead. No, you go.
And I did a little research on the guy. So he's basically part of Santana and Ortiz's old faction in Impact. So LAX.
Nice.
Diamante is too, by the way. Did not know that they had a female member. Yeah, I never watched Impact, so I had no idea.
That
but anyway,
makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. So Eddie Kingston, crazy on the mic, definitely showed himself to be like a great addition to AEW. Basically, the match comes to a close, however, when Eddie powerbombs Cody on a pile of thumbtacks, and then Cody kicks out, however, and then Cody taps Kingston with the figure 4 because he was aiming for Kingston's leg the entire match.
It was a good match.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, I didn't really know too much of Eddie Kingston before this, but I will say his promo work got me to the point where I didn't know if he was actually borderline being serious. And that's how I wanted to feel. He super dope. I like this dude.
Yeah.
You think they're going to have him around more?
I hope so. I mean, like, he has connections, with Santana Ortiz. And I think they need someone really good on the mic, especially someone like him. So I think he will. he'll join them for something, even if not in a wrestling capacity. I think he would join as someone's manager because you can't just give up that type of mic skills.
Yeah, they need him back again. I really liked him. I really enjoyed him, and
Yeah, he's great.
And his match with Cody, good match.
Yeah, how he goaded him into a no DQ match too. That line he said. So either I forgot what he said, but yeah, it was pretty good, man.
Yeah, I forgot what he said as well. If anybody remembers, leave it down in the comments. But like, that is the solid difference between Raw, SmackDown, and AEW NXT. I'm going to put AEW NXT together, even though we just said it was the Wednesday Night Wars. But that is the difference. Like, you say things that make cohesive sense. Yes. Like, you can have things scripted, but let the wrestlers improv that script.
Yeah.
Let them feel it out and make it their own, Let them be themselves.
Like, give the skeleton of the story, but let the wrestlers themselves fill in, like, the meat and bones.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Nice. All right. So next we have MJF versus Griff Garrison. And if you guys watch Being the Elite, who the hell is Griff Garrison? Anyway, so this guy looks like the evolved version of Jungle Boy. And MJF puts out a mic. He destroys Garrison on the mic, basically. And then Garrison mentions him losing in his tag match. And this sets him off because the whole match, he destroys Garrison. And he already has the match won, but he's with him until Garrison says he's undefeated. Then he hits him with the Heat Seeker for the win, which is another power driver to add into the AEW list of power driver finishes. I like it though. It's a good move.
It works for MJF, strangely.
Yeah. And I like his naming sense on it, Heat Seeker, because this guy, like, everyone hates him. Yeah.
Actually, I didn't even think about that because when they said Heat Seeker, I just thought about like a heat-seeking missile. But Heat Seeker, he seeks heat, the hate. Like, he enjoys that, and that is very fitting. But his version of the pile driver is actually, it looks like it would really hurt. Like, you're really like bouncing somebody up and then down on their head, like. And for MJF, he makes it clean. I feel like if anybody else did that, I don't know if it would be as clean. But it was good.
Yeah, that looks like it could go wrong, as pile drivers go. Yeah.
Well, Havoc from Impact, her tombstone pile driver, how she just like drops to her, like jumps and then drops to her knees, makes me very nervous. So we'll talk about that in tomorrow's episode. But I paused
during that too. I was like, she's not gonna hit it.
It was one of these.
Oh, she hit it.
She has to be dead. It was a good tombstone pile driver, but like a lot of these pile driver moves, I don't know why a Canadian destroyer, maybe just because I know it's more safe. Yeah, like some of these pile drivers, they really be pushing it. Now I know, and in case you guys watching don't know, when you take a pile driver, essentially at the last second, you're supposed to tuck your head in so that you hit the top of your crown, right? And you don't want to bust your neck. But like some of these pile drivers, I feel like it doesn't matter what you do at the last second. It's just going to take your career away, But yeah, it was a good finisher. I like it.
Mm-hmm. I agree. All right, next we have a Britt Baker segment. She's back in talking capacity. Basically, in her segment, she talks about the conspiracy against Sheeta and her nose and how she had nose surgery. I don't know if she actually had nose surgery, but if she did, she sold the paper ball thing really well.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah.
Britt Baker deserves to be a heel. There's not much. This segment was just like more just storyline filler, like not filler like an in between, but just more like just to add more to it.
Exactly.
But it's every time they do something like this, they just add, thumbs up to that. But they just added like another good addition to the story as it continues on. I said it before, I'll say it again. Britt Baker as a face compared to Britt Baker as a heel,
Night and day, dude.
Two completely different things. I would much rather have Britt Baker the heel. And I would still let her fix my teeth.
Yeah. So despite how scary she can be, yeah.
Yep.
And I like their decision how they decided to keep her on TV despite her being injured.
Mm-hmm.
And it's working, actually, because, like, whoever decided to, like, do this thing was a genius because she's continuing her momentum even while she's injured.
Yeah.
Especially with Big Swole. They're probably going to lead up to Double or Nothing.
Yeah. I'm excited for that because I'm a huge Big Swole fan. And because I love Britt Baker as a heel, it should be good. It should be a good match as long as, you know, they have good communication. You know, they stick to what they know will work against each other. But I would really love to see them go all out. I want to see. I want to. Yeah. Right. Oh my God. I want to see an NXT takeover type match between the two of them. Oh my God.
Because we know. Gets in tight.
Yeah, thank you. But yes, I would like to see that level match between them. And I know I should say AEW level, whatever, blah, blah, blah. The reason why I say takeover level is just because, like, there's just something about women's matches at takeover when like they really go all out. And I want to see that kind of level for those two. Can AEW do that? Yeah, they can. I'm just saying, like, that's just, you know, it's offhand comment, but I want them to have a full out match. I want them to really go for it all, really brawl it out, especially, but I don't want to see like her assistant get involved. I don't, you know, I mean, she's a heel, so yeah, she might do something cheap, but like, I want to see like an actual match. Like Adam Cole does cheap shit all the time. You know what I'm saying? But then there's many matches, mainly his matches where it is just him out there, where he doesn't cheat. He literally will fight his ass off. And that's why he can say what he can about himself when he was champion, you know, because he really is that good, you know? And I want that for Britt Baker. Can you hear me?
Uh-oh.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Are we good?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, right.
Yes, we back.
So just if you guys are watching on YouTube, we are doing this through Zoom because we are recording this episode. We are not live. Okay, when we start going live, we will be utilizing a stream service called StreamYard. I don't mind telling you guys because might as well share the goodies, right? So yeah, like all I was saying is I want to see that for Britt Baker. She deserves the same kind of height and build as Adam Cole got in AEW. And yes, I know I'm comparing them and they're together and all of that stuff, but let's keep it real. Britt deserves that. Does Big Swole deserve that? Hell yeah, she does. Do a lot of the women in AEW deserve that? They do because they fight for it, you know, and AEW showcases them pretty well. So, yeah, good segment.
Next, we have the Taz promo segment where Darby comes out to confront Brian Cage and Taz, but Ricky Starks, having aligned himself with Cage and Taz, ambushes him behind. Moxley comes out, however, for the save with a wired bat, and that ends the segment. So I read from a news article that Darby Allin is concussed from when Ricky Starks hit him in the back of the head.
Oh, I knew it. I knew it.
Yeah, because that shot looked rough, right? That was way too stiff for a shot.
The camera shot was actually almost like along the ropes in a sense. And so you can clearly see Darby bounce off the top rope with his head. Like to me, that was a Nia Jax moment on part of Ricky Starks.
Ricky Starks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was a Nia Jax moment. Like, bro, I know you're supposed to come up from behind and hit him, but you knocked the sense out of him into the ropes, which need I remind people, and mind you, Rey Mysterio did the same thing he does every time he does a 619. Trips you up, you go along the ropes, he goes around, he 619s you. But that match that he had, where the wrestler, like, you know, he went for the move, the wrestler hit the rope and died, you know, those kinds of accidents can happen. So when you literally blindside the crap out of him, yes, I get that's what you were supposed to do, but dude, he's like right in front of the ropes. Like, are you serious? Like, man, like that was a timing issue on
I don't know what
his
he was
part.
thinking, man. Yeah.
And I don't want to like completely like bag on the guy, but come on, man. Like, we're supposed
really
to be
unprofessional.
accidents happen, you know, but you got to be able to control that kind of stuff. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. What was he thinking that was gonna happen when he charged at someone who couldn't see him coming from behind and going at full force?
Well, the thing is, they normally do that anyway. But the problem is that when he did it, Darby is right in front of the ropes. So, you know, like, that's the part where he should have thought about it. Like, my thinking is that he was supposed to attack Darby as he got into the ring. Not right in front of the ropes, but he just went out there and went for it, you know? It looked very unprofessional. What do we know? We're just fans, right? But it looked very, very Nia Jax to me. Very unprofessional, not thinking, you know, and I don't want to bag on Nia Jax because at the same time, Nia Jax cares very much at wanting to be good at this, you know what I mean? So, but like, so in Nia Jax's defense, she was more green in the industry than somebody like Ricky Starks. That's why with Ricky Starks, it's like, dude, come on, bro. You know? I mean, yes, Nia Jax has done things several times. So at some point, it's like, come on, you really should know better. But, like, Ricky Starks, like, this dude's been wrestling for a long time, right?
Yeah.
He's not that new, right?
Like a ring veteran. No, yeah.
Yeah,
He's
like,
been on NWA Power, I believe.
So it's just like, you know, sometimes that makes you wonder, like, do some wrestlers purposely try to hurt other wrestlers within the kayfabe realm? Meaning, like, they're really trying to hurt them, but trying to make it look like it's still kayfabe, when that person might actually really be hurt. You know, like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to spend too much time talking about this, but when I saw it, it was just the whole time, I was just like, please end this segment right now. Please just end this segment right now.
Because the thing is, Starks could have been nervous too, because I think that was only his second time on like such a major like channel too.
Yeah, but
regardless, it shouldn't have happened.
Yeah, I mean, it's a fine line. I get it. It's a fine line, but at the same time, it's like,
all right.
If you've reached,
next we have the
Can you hear me?
women.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Hello? Here we go again. Wait for it. Just wait for it. There we go. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I was just gonna say that, speedy recovery for Darby. And as far as
he literally just came back.
Yeah, and as far as Ricky Starks goes, like, you're supposed to be a pro. That's all I can tell you.
Man.
Go ahead.
All right, next on lighter news, and you kind of asked for this, so ask and you shall receive. The women's tag tournament is announced.
Yeah.
And Ali and Brandy are on front of that promo poster, so it looks like they might be the favorite coming into this tournament.
Yeah, they're putting a lot of focus on them. I think that might be a switch, like a setup. They put this focus and then they just lose it, and then it's like who's gonna take it if they're not, gonna win. I think they should lose first round. I think that would be hilarious.
Yeah, and that tag team that beats them ends up being the winners. That would be great.
Yeah.
All right, next we have a very fun match, the Young Bucks versus Butcher and Blade in a Falls Count Anywhere match.
This match
and Blade sets a really good example. Before facing the Young Bucks, they were cutting up meat. That's where the Young Bucks found them. Blade washes his hands first, and then the match starts. They start brawling in the butcher shop. There's some crazy segments, but biggest highlight, or one of the biggest highlights, has to be the Young Bucks super kicking Blade into the up escalator.
Yeah,
and
I
then
thought that was pretty funny.
Played there, and it went to commercial while it was going up. Best way to go commercial.
I liked it. I thought it was funny. One thing I really like is how they're having Butcher and Blade actually look, like with having them wear all white instead of they're all black. They look like actual cooks, but because they're crazy, you don't know, like, well, what are they butchering in their shop? And that is the type of, that's what I like to see from them. What was it? Butcher was wearing the apron the whole time.
Oh, yeah.
Perfect. I thought it was perfect. Yeah.
And I like Butcher and Blade, but this match is what made me love Butcher and Blade, because they really showed it this match. Holy shit.
Yeah.
But
they deserve some wins soon, though.
Oh, yes. I think there was a big argument about that in terms of should Butcher and Blade have won this match?
Yes.
Yeah, because I think they deserve
Unpopular opinion. Unpopular.
Yeah, and I don't think Young Bucks would have, lost anything from losing that match.
It's their company.
Yeah, and honestly, Street Profits, I believe they gained so much from that win. I think Butcher and Blade needs a big win.
Yeah.
Soon, very soon.
And what I mean by, like, it's their company is they have done so much and are so good at what they do that if they take a loss, it's not going to hurt them.
Not going to affect, yeah.
Yeah, like, even if they lost 100 matches straight, that would be a part of the storyline to where they finally start winning again and they find their old ways again and this and that. Like, you know what I mean? They are at a point where they can really play with their wins and losses and whatnot. That's why I think Butcher and Blade really should have won this match, especially because they're Butcher and Blade. Like, yes, Young Bucks have had crazy matches, but they're Butcher and the Blade. You know what I mean? Like, they're Butcher and the Blade. Like, I don't know. But, I mean, I'm not mad at the decision, but yeah, I would agree. I'm not going to lie to you. Recently, it seems like the Elite are winning a lot of their own matches.
Yes, which I think was their biggest concern.
Yes.
In the beginning.
Yes. Now, I think this is knowing how smart this company is and the people in it. I think it's all a part of the overall plan. They're gonna win this and win that and and then it's gonna change. And I don't think people are ready for that because they're not ready to see Kenny Omega the loser or Young Bucks the losers or Hangman Page the loser. And I think that might.
That's true.
I think that might happen because they all have been doing this for so long that they need to eventually open up the floodgates for everyone else. And what better way to do that than to start taking L's left and right, So we'll see. But it was a good match. Butcher and Blade should have won.
Yeah, I agree. And basically the finish was Nick and Matt both got on top of the entrance setup. Matt hit the flying elbow and Nick hit the flying senton, and it sent Butcher and Blade through the table, and they did a double pin for a win. Looks clean?
Yeah.
And then one of my favorite segments, because we finally get him back, Lance Archer murders every jobber in the locker room and puts one in a trash can like a school bully.
Yeah, for real.
God.
Yeah, and then almost like eats the microphone as he speaks into it.
Yeah. Hopefully this, leads to a big time feud with him. But who would you like to see him have a big feud with? Like, who's a big time heel big time face that's not doing anything right now? You know, because he can beat your Sunny Kisses and Joey J. But Cody lost. Not saying that was a bad decision, but he needs a big win after such a major loss. Because like the only other top face
MJF.
is John Mox, MJF.
Because you have the dynamic of Wardlow.
Oh.
I'm trying to think of who else. I can't right now. I'm sure I'll think of it like after we stop talking about it, but for now I would say MJF, just because of how MJF is. He could really mess with them, and then the dynamic with Wardlow, with Jake the Snake.
Yeah.
I mean, it would even be interesting to see a backstage, like a few segments here and there where like, where MJF keeps running into him, but Wardlow's not around. So it's like, like just things like that. Yeah. So I don't know. I'll give that one some thought, but for now I would say MJF.
I like that choice just because we'll also get a Wardlow and Lance Archer match. And I think that could be really good too.
Yeah, that would be, oh my God, that would be good. That would be really good.
And then we have another former LAX member, Diamante versus Ivelisse, another Lucha Underground alumni.
Hey-o.
I'm surprised she didn't get like some kind of like promo before her match because
they probably couldn't get the rights to the footage.
Maybe, yeah, because I felt like Ivelisse is kind of like a big signing for them, and they should do some kind of like promo segment or something. That
name has a lot of weight to it. So sometimes all you need to do is just say the name and that's it.
Fair. But, I'm glad she's in the AEW Women's roster.
Me too, dude. Me too. Yeah. Actually, both of these women, this match was very refreshing.
Yeah.
And it was nice to see them fighting each other versus them facing other people. Just because, you want to see them compete, but because of the pandemic, we've been seeing a lot of the same faces over and over again. So for this singles match, it was really good to just have the two of them. It made it seem very each division should be extensive enough to where certain wrestlers have their own like little side feud going on that has nothing to do with the rest of the division. And
it would be okay not to see like certain wrestlers for 1 week or something.
Yeah. Which AEW is good at doing, and we just have to remind ourselves the pandemic, they had to use certain people over and over again. But now they're starting to find better ways of substituting people in and out, which is really good. So
I agree.
Yeah.
All right. So next we have Allen 5 Angels versus Hangman Page. I didn't recognize that this guy was the guy that faced Kenny Omega previously.
Yep.
But anyways, so Hangman hits the slingshot powerbomb on Angels for the win very cleanly. No hesitation there. Brody Lee, however, tried to recruit him after the match. And you see the rest of Dark Order outside by the entrance ramp. And if Hangman says anything else but yes, they're going to have a fight. And Hangman does something worse. He calls the Dark Order a cult. That pisses off Brody Lee. Brody sticks the Dark Order on him. But FTR are actually the first people to come in and save him. They come in with a cooler, smash 5 Angels in the head, and then they take out the rest of Dark Order. Omega comes very, very late for the save, and Hangman has a beer with FTR. So that could be very telling of a Hangman FTR faction in the future.
Isn't that what I said? Isn't that what I
Yeah.
said? And then I feel like FTR is gonna be so buddy with Hangman that it creates a rift between Kenny and Hangman Page because of Young Bucks. And then Hangman Page is finally just gonna lose it, and Buckshot lariat the crap out of Kenny Omega.
Yeah. This could lead to a really good 6-man match. I don't know what type of stipulation it'll have, but I just know it'll be good because they've done a lot of good tag matches. All right, next we have Jurassic Express versus the Inner Circle. This is your main event. This is a very solid match, but then you see Serpentico. This is the guy in the luchador mask that you see every episode in the crowd in AEW Dynamite. He's wrestled on AEW Dark before, but never on Dynamite. So this was crazy. We all thought Serpentico was recruited into the Inner Circle. Serpentico interferes in this match with Floyd the Bat, letting Jericho hit the code breaker for the win. So after Serpentico looks like he's joined the Inner Circle, right? He hits a shooting star press very beautifully and then reveals himself to be Sammy Guevara. He's back. And then Best Friends come out for the save. This sets up a 5-man tag match next week.
When did you know it was Sammy?
I think it was the demeanor. He just felt...
But when?
Like, okay, it was... I know it was after the match ended. I think it was like the way Serpentico started moving, like it was very cocky-ass. It was even before the shooting star press, because the way he moved, you could tell it's someone else under the mask. And
yeah. When he started walking around, I was like, that's Sammy, man. And then I saw the shooting star, I was like, yeah, that's Sammy. Yeah. But I thought they did a pretty good job at the reveal, you know.
Oh yeah.
But it was enjoyable. It was a good match, and it was a good moment to that match. But now Sammy Guevara is back. Cool.
Yeah.
You know, Spanish God in the house.
This was a very controversial return because of, you know, his comments. But Tony Khan has commented that Sammy's been very sorry. He's been doing everything he can during the last couple of weeks. What are your thoughts on, like, Sammy returning currently?
What did Sammy say again? I totally forgot what he said.
It was the rape comment towards Sasha Banks.
I think that he had a really bad moment of saying something that he thought was going to be funny, and it was not funny. And when he said it, even he himself was like, oh shit. So you live and you learn. What he said wasn't right. I mean, I've said that before on past episodes. It wasn't right. But at the same time, I think it was a joke. I think what he was trying to say definitely came out wrong. So he's paid his time for it. He's done what the company has required him to do before coming back, you know? So I think he has, you know, just because you went through the steps and now that you're back doesn't mean everything's all better. You know, he has to now make up for that comment by doing future things, and not saying, but by action. But he can do it. He's a young kid, you know. I'm not excusing what he said, but he's a young kid, and this is how he will learn. That situation is a perfect moment that shows you that Sammy Guevara may have been doing this for a long time despite his age, but he is still his age.
Yeah.
So this is how he learns.
Yeah, and everyone said stupid, you know, shit in the past. It just so happens that his really stupid comment was caught online. It was in a podcast, and that got him into a lot of trouble. And like we said, we don't agree with his comment, but I think his intentions weren't ill, and he just made a really stupid joke.
It was a joke that was just probably funnier inside the head, but not outside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that wraps up AEW.
Boom. So now we are going to get into the review for NXT. So, as always, David, take it away. Oh, yeah. One more thing.
Yeah.
Since everybody's new to this episode for our channel, thank you if you still have stuck around this long into the episode. But you will notice we tend to talk a lot more about AEW than we do NXT. I've explained before, so let me explain again now for YouTube. Right now, because AEW is the newer company, AEW has more layers to it. Because everybody's trying to figure out where AEW is going with this and going with that. Who's the new talent? How is this company going to last and do this and this and that? NXT has already been around. Yes, their TV deal is newer than AEW's, but not by much. But they've already been around and had established themselves enough to where when they got the TV deal, it was just like any other week on WWE Network. So as we go through the review for NXT, if you're wondering like, wow, they didn't really say much about NXT compared to AEW, it's because right now AEW has more layers to it. Over time, that will change, but just letting you guys know. We love NXT as much as we love AEW. We love NXT so much because we feel like it is the model the rest of the WWE company should follow. Okay? So just want to get that out there, let you guys know. But let's get into this review. Again, David, take it away.
This is the July 22nd episode of NXT, and this starts off with a major announcement. Keith Lee relinquishes the North American Championship. What the heck?
Why?
That was so quick. I get it. I like
how they had him do it.
Yes. I like what it led to with all those triple threat matches, but I think he should have kept it for a while. It was crazy.
WWE just really doesn't know how to properly have a double champ. It's like the minute they do it, it's like they instantly got to change it.
Yeah, like it's only for a cool moment. Yeah, like we said, they only do it for moments, and it's not for any long-term purposes.
Perfect example.
Yes. Good example was Seth Rollins having the US and WWE title, and then he lost at the next pay-per-view. He was double champ for 1 whole month.
Stupid.
Maybe 1 whole month. Same thing with the Raw Tag Team titles and his WWE title. Lost the Raw Tag titles the next pay-per-view. Because of course he did.
And you know why they do that? Because if you are the top champion, you can't be a double champ with any other title, because then that doesn't make you the main event card. That makes you mid-card. And we can't have that. Stupid. But I trust NXT. I trust Triple H.
Yeah.
And the way they set it up and the way they had Keith Lee really go about it, I thought was cool. And it made it work for me. And it made it believable. It made it believable. If it was anybody else, I would have been like really pissed off. But because it's Keith Lee, he has this way of like just getting you to be like, okay, say whatever you want.
Yeah, like if Keith Lee says anything, like if he says the world is flat, I would believe him because it's Keith Lee.
It's that charisma, man. So I mean, cool. You know, we'll get into the first triple threat soon, but you know, the first triple threat match that we got, it was good to the point where it supported their decision on doing this.
Yeah. I get exactly what you mean. So first we have on the card before this was a feud started by Dexter Lumis's drawing of Killian Dane, by the way.
Oh, yeah. I like Dexter Lumis. I don't know why. He's so weird, but I like him.
Oh, yeah. Especially once you see his moves in this match. We have Dexter Lumis versus Killian Dane, and Lumis hits a beautiful senton, and then later hits the Uranagi and puts Killian to sleep for the win. What a match. What a guy.
What a stand-up guy.
I won't say stand-up. I mean, he's kidnapped a couple of people.
Yeah, you're right. Okay.
All right. Next we have the tag team with the really cool gear, but we don't know too much about them. Everrise versus Breezango, and they come out to the theme of the Mounties. But even though they're silly on their entrance, they make work in the ring because they destroy Everrise. They wipe out both members with double super kicks and pins the last member they super kicked for the win.
Everrise sounds like a band in the early 2000s that would have probably been top charts on TRL on MTV.
I 100% agree.
Yep.
And it'd be very teen, angsty, that type of song. Yeah.
You know, when they were like, when they got announced, they were like, Everrise. I was like, who is this?
Is a golf band going to come out?
Yeah, who is this band about to play around? Is this Hanson? Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they're not bad talent. That name just is very, it just doesn't work for me. I don't know.
Yeah, I could see that, honestly. So next we have Shotzi Blackheart versus Aaliyah. And this is more of a comedic filler match, if I do say so myself. Blackheart takes out Robert on the ropes. This allows her to hit the diving senton on Aaliyah for the win. And then to rub salt on Robert Stone's wounds, she gets back in her tank and starts running over his good leg. And that ends the segment. Oh, wait, just kidding. Because Mercedes Martinez comes in for the save and wipes out Shotzi Blackheart, possibly leading a match versus Blackheart and Martinez in the future.
Yep. Good
right.
Match moment.
Wait, is the screen frozen?
Probably. Because we're on Zoom. You've been freezing like 5 billion times. You've been freezing like 5 billion times, so it's fine. We're on Zoom, and it's fine. Anyway,
it
happens. It was a good match, good moment. Funny work. I like Robert Stone, and whatnot. But what happens later on, a little bit later on in the night, I thought was very interesting. I mean, you kind of see it coming because of Mercedes Martinez, coming in at the end, but very interesting. Very, very interesting. I like Aaliyah with Robert Stone. What I don't want to have happen is Aaliyah to be put very far into the background because of who else they're including into these storylines.
True.
Aaliyah has been there for a long time, longer than I think people realize, and she's worked really hard to reinvent herself time and time again. At some point, they really need to give her a stride that she can grab onto, But it'll get there. I just don't want them to give up on her.
Yeah, hopefully this is the gimmick that will, push her to a different rank in their card.
Agreed.
Hopefully. And next we have a fan favorite. We have Isaiah Swerve Scott getting his own vignette. And I love this vignette because it was talking about his love for music and how it connects to wrestling for him. And it finally adds to Isaiah Swerve Scott's character. And hopefully with this vignette, they're hinting that, he's going to get a push after this. I would hope.
Yeah, well, yeah, especially with a video package like that. One, Isaiah Swerve Scott, I said it recently, he deserves that.
Yeah.
He's a really, really, really good talent to have on your roster, and there's no reason why he should be taking as many L's as he has. Yes, he has W's, but it's like there's losses. It's like watching Johnny Gargano lose before he became a heel. Just seeing him lose over and over again, it was really annoying, really, really annoying. But NXT is really good at taking that somewhere. And now we see that maybe they're starting to do that with Isaiah. And maybe that position opened for him now that Johnny Gargano's a heel. Because if you noticed, Johnny Gargano used to get that kind of video package love as well, too. You know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
You know, it is what it is, but
Yeah.
we'll see.
Yeah, maybe he'll be in the North American picture too, because we don't know how many triple threat matches are there?
3. Well, 3.
3.
There's supposed to be 3.
Okay.
I was like, wait a minute, where's my hand?
Oh,
There's supposed to be 3 total. 3 total.
Okay, so he might be in the third one, which would be cool.
Which, and by the way, NXT made it seem like all 3 triple threat matches were in the same night.
I thought so too, and then it was gonna lead up to those 3 feuding against each other next night.
Maybe that was a recording error in editing. You know?
I have no idea, but I thought the same thing too.
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess I know why they're doing it, because now they're kind of like trying to get eyes on NXT. Like, oh, these triple threat matches are really good. Maybe we should tune in on this instead of AEW.
Yeah.
Like, I get their tactics.
Yeah.
But yeah. All right, next we have our very first triple threat match that we're speaking of, Johnny Gargano versus Roderick Strong versus Bronson Reed. And man, does Bronson Reed shine in this match, because he throws Gargano and Roderick Strong around like it's nothing. Resident Thick Boy does a lot of work, but the match comes to a very close end when Johnny hits the final beat DDT on Roderick, only for Bronson Reed to hit the 5-star frog splash on Roderick, taking out Gargano too for the win. Bronson Reed is the first entrant in the North American Championship.
I don't have anything to say except for about time. When they put those 3 in the first triple threat, I somehow already knew that he was going to win, simply because of how they've positioned Roddy lately, Johnny as well. And why would you put Bronson Reed in that match with those 2 people if you're not going to do anything for him at this point that he's been in NXT? He's against 2 people that have done so much in NXT. It would be a slap in the face to put him in a match with those 2 people and give it to Roderick or give it to Johnny Gargano, you know? So I'm happy that they went that direction. I'm happy that they chose that. You know, it's about damn time.
Fair. I was genuinely shocked, because I thought he was going to have a very good showing, but it was going to be Gargano that was going to take the win.
I feel like at this point it would have been weird for Gargano to see Gargano get the win, only because, like I said, like, we had a long time of Undisputed Era and Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa being like the main focal points of storylines.
True.
Where that stuff has died down. You know, Adam Cole lost the title, so UE's a little bit quiet right now. It just kind of makes more sense to push Reed forward more, or like anyone, you know.
Oh yeah, because I agree with the decision. Like, because now it looks like it's a new era.
Exactly.
Now they're like showing a bunch of new faces.
Exactly,
you know?
And when you have Keith Lee talking about, you know, we need opportunities, you know, not just for some of the guys but all of the guys, like that's and then you have Roderick or Johnny win that match.
That's very true.
You would have gone against what was in your promo package. It wouldn't have made sense. So yeah, kudos to him. I'm really happy for him. It would actually be nice to see him as the North American champion, and then him and Keith Lee could just wreck everybody. Oh my God.
So this guy's great. Yeah. All right, next we have Oney Lorcan versus Timothy Thatcher.
Hey.
And this is a really good match, and it looks like it's going to lead to a rubber match, maybe? Because Lorcan has Thatcher's arm in the submission, but Thatcher just sneaks it into a pin, leading to a win for Thatcher. So this looks like maybe they'll have another match down the line. Could be. And it's the way the match ended and Oney Lorcan's face. I don't see why they wouldn't have another match. We as fans, at least those of us that enjoyed the match and the pairing of the two,
we need another match. They work really well together in the ring. But then again, Oney Lorcan works really well with anyone who looks crazy as him.
Yes. Yeah, him and Thatcher has very similar fighting styles, so that's why the matchups are like really good. It's like Oney Lorcan to Timothy Thatcher is what Dominic Dijakovic is to Keith Lee.
Yes.
Like their matchup and style is so connected that it works out to be exciting matches each time they wrestle.
I would agree with that.
I would like to see a third match, yeah. So good segment there. Next we have the second Robert Stone segment of the night. Mercedes Martinez officially signs the Robert Stone brand. He gets up to shake her hand, only to fall back down. But you know what? She signed with the Robert Stone brand. She's officially one of his members.
That was crazy to me.
Yeah.
Like, you saw it coming, but at the same time, like, it really happened. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Especially Mercedes Martinez.
You know? I know. Yeah. But good for Robert Stone. He came up big with that one.
Yeah, big catch right there.
Yeah.
Because based on past signings, you know, like he usually signs like the very what you would call cookie cutter type wrestlers. Like they fit the mode of your everyday average women's wrestler, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's very nice and shocking that he picked someone like Mercedes Martinez too. It shows like variety in like this faction he has going on.
I think in terms of like being able to present it well, it's going to be funny to see Robert Stone's humor versus Mercedes not so humor.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably why NXT went with that, is because the dynamic is already instantly funny when you think about it. You have somebody who's a complete goofball and somebody who is like super serious and will snap your neck in a second, and they're supposed to work together. You know, we've seen that in movies many times, you know what I mean? So like just the possibilities of what can happen with this now makes me laugh more than anything. But Mercedes Martinez needs the NXT Women's Championship at some point.
Oh, 100% agree. Yeah. Yeah, honestly, I thought she was going to go on a tear back then, and then Rhea Ripley was going to go on a tear, and eventually they would face each other for the title.
Yeah.
Hopefully that still happens somewhere down the line.
Yeah, and you know what happened to that? Vince McMahon.
Freaking Charlotte, man.
Yeah.
All right. And now we have the main event. And what an ending to the main event, by the way.
Seriously.
Karrion Kross versus Dominic Dijakovic.
Now, before you get started...
Dominic is actually the first to give some real damage to Kross, by the way.
Before you get started, Karrion Kross has the dopest entrance right now.
Hands down.
That's all I gotta say. Continue.
I couldn't agree more, honestly. All right. So Dominic is actually the first guy to deal some real damage to Kross. But at what cost? Because the final exchange is Kross smashing the steel steps against Dijakovic's head, and then he drags his dead body back into the ring to beat him up. And at this point, Keith Lee has seen enough. He walks in, and he's ready to end this match. But Dijakovic, to his tough character, tells Keith Lee, yo, this is my fight. I got this. And then he just stays in it until the match is over. And the worst part is, while Karrion Kross is delivering these murderous blows to Dijakovic's head, he's looking straight at Keith Lee while he's doing it, only to later lock in the cross jacket for the win. Keith Lee immediately gets into the ring after the match. This makes their title feud way personal.
Very personal, which can make for a very, very, very good match.
Yeah.
Dominic Dijakovic, his character in this moment was spot on. Keith Lee coming out and just listening to everything that Dominic kept telling him, Like, I felt like I was watching like a Rocky movie or something, and like, you know, like this dude's about to get knocked out and he might die if he takes one more blow, but he's looking at his trainer and he's like, no, don't throw in the towel. I got this. And then, you know, like with like half your eyeball falling out. Sorry, Rey Mysterio. But you know, it was really good. Like,
Yeah.
I really believed this whole moment. And Karrion Kross is amazing in the ring. I am becoming a bigger fan of his more and more. But Dijakovic, just, man, see, there are some wrestlers in wrestling, let alone WWE, that commit so good to their character in certain moments that I just wish they could get an award for that. You know what I'm saying? I really wish that like Dijakovic or Keith Lee or just any other wrestler that has had a really good promo, for them to just like, can they give this guy an Emmy? Like, man, he was so good. Like, I just don't understand it. I just don't get it. I think David's having connection issues, but we'll see. But yeah, I don't know. Dijakovic was really good in this moment. Really, really good in this moment. So when we get David back, he'll rebuttal my statement. David. We might get disconnected. And if this is the end of the episode, it's okay. Subscribe anywhere, give a like, or take a hike. Are we back?
Oh, it's back. Okay.
There we go. So what I was saying, if you didn't hear it, is that Dominic was so good at his role that there are times where I feel like certain wrestlers who have had really good promos or moments, whatever, that they deserve like an Emmy. You know, they deserve.
This is one of them for sure.
Yeah, like just so good. Sorry for the connection issues, everybody. You know, we are on Zoom trying to make this work as best as we can. You know, it could be my Wi-Fi, it could be David's Wi-Fi, but we're actually near the end of the episode. And it's funny that this is happening now. But yeah, I think this.
I know.
It was just such a good match. It was just really, really good, and I have to applaud Dominic Dijakovic. Keith Lee did a really good job at supporting it. You know, he could have been cheesy himself to where it could have killed the whole moment, but everyone involved did such an astounding job that did, like, just this moment, not even the match, but just this moment of the match, to me was like the best thing of the entire night, because it was just so believable. It, like, you couldn't help but just stare at the screen and be like, dude, he's like killing this dude right now. Keith, get in there. Like,
yeah.
That's when you know you have the fans. When the fans, like, they're not just yelling because they just want to yell. They're not just yelling because they want to yell, but they are seriously so invested as if it's happening right in front of their eyes, you know? So that's all.
Yeah, that was like a takeover level moment or something, like that connection they had between all three wrestlers. Like, that's really hard to replicate, man.
Yeah.
Now, I have though. Who do you think is gonna come out on top of this title feud? Because here's the biggest issue: can you have Karrion Kross lose his first title match in his first major feud? But you also can't have Keith Lee lose in his second title defense and his first biggest title defense.
Do they already have a title match set?
I don't believe they do.
So
But
so what I would say is you need to keep putting people in front of Karrion Kross to where
yeah,
to
I
where he
agree.
to where he has enough wins and momentum under his belt to where if he loses to Keith Lee, it's not going to hurt him. If anything, you're going to want to see him try again.
I agree.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So is that everything?
I believe that's everything, man.
All right. So before we lose connection, let's see if we can end this right. David keeps freezing in a position where his eyes are closed.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Whoa. Jeez.
Back?
Yeah, we're back. So as always, thank you guys so much for joining us on another fun-filled episode of 3 Count Reviews. We hope you're staying safe, staying clean. Leave us some love in the comments, hit subscribe, give a like. If you have any opinions on last week's episode of AEW Dynamite and NXT, or even Impact, let us know. Shoot us a message on Twitter at 3Count Reviews with an S, always with an S. Wait, where's my hand? There, okay. So 3Count Reviews on Twitter. Give us a follow. And yeah, let's just have the conversation. You know what I'm saying? Let's just talk wrestling. Let us know what you guys think. Let us know what you're looking forward to, especially in the future with Impact, AEW, and NXT. You know, what is something you would like to see these companies do? Not just storyline-wise, not just, creative-wise or booking-wise, but overall, what is the overall direction you'd like to see these companies go? So yeah, let us know down below. We'll see you guys next time. As always, I've been your host, JP.
And I've been your host, David.
And you've been listening to
3Count Reviews. Let's go.
It's right here. No. Oh, wait. No. I'll see you guys next time.
Nice. Bye.